from a galaxy far, far away.
And a bookshelf straight out of the 90s.
From Thrawn to Dantooine
And everything in between. This is Legends Look Back.
Long story short, we've been watching the original trilogy around the house. It's been a lot of fun. We rolled right from watching The Empire Strikes Back into watching Return of the Jedi with my kids. My 4-year-old is really soaking this in. She's seen it before. It was a long time ago. She's really enjoying it. And my wife said, oh, wait till we get to the Ewoks. She's really going to love the Ewoks. And so I turn on the movie. Bam, bum, bum, you know, the Star Wars comes on the crawl. I turn to her and I say, I hope you're ready for the cuteness. You're not going to be able to handle the cuteness. And then she looked at me terrified and said, what if I can't handle the cuteness?
Oh, man.
She could. We all survived, except for Vader, the Emperor. But most of us survived. It's a wonderful, thrilling experience. Highly recommend it. If you have kids, find the time to watch the original trilogy. It's just, there's nothing like it. And then give yourself a couple of years till they forget the original trilogy. Watch it again. Re-roll it. It is wonderful. You know what else is wonderful? This episode of Legends Look Back that we've got planned. So without further ado, let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back. This is a show that is proudly part of the YOUTINI Podcast Network, a Star Wars books podcast for people whose pets are named Bebop and Rocksteady and Tycho and Dash Rendar and what's the name of my dog? Kyle Katarn. Yeah, there we go. Where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined by my legendary co-hosts, Emily Daybeck. How are you, Emily?
Well, it's a fun night over here. I have a baby.
Oh.
That you do.
Here's Darth Tumnus. I heard him cry during our technical difficulties and went to grab him, and now here we're stuck, and he just doesn't know what's going on. So, I'm gonna pull off.
Would like to see the baby.
That's fine. Yeah, that's right. We all got to see the baby.
Big
finally.
Eyes. Here he is.
Yeah.
The face he made at you a second ago when you held him up was the face that everybody makes at me every time I mention naked palps.
Oh. Thumbnail.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh,
do what you got to do.
He's very
we'll
sad.
come back.
I'll be right back.
We'll talk all about the Knights of the Old Republic 2 announcement. I'll do it with my good friend, our producer, Rick Race.
Yes, I am a great producer who does incredible things with the buttons and the levers and the whoop-de-boop. So, yeah, having fun over here.
Wow.
Everything's fine here. We're fine. How are you?
Made it through 100 episodes just in time for total technical difficulties. But you know what? It comes with the territory. They're doing well, man. Doing great. Had Star Wars books come in the mail the other day.
Nice.
And as they were Legends books, which is very fun. Got the next wave of Essential Legends collections in the mail. We've got one of my very favorite books. Right now I'm proclaiming it, sweeping declaration, my favorite Legends book. Darth Maul, Shadow Hunter, deep in the middle of the audiobook on this. And, it's fantastic. Sam Witwer, that audiobook.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now.
Right. I hope you're listening to the show, Rick. We've got a job to do here, okay?
That
Give the people what they want. And Darth Maul, Shadowhunter is great. That one came in. We've got Death Troopers. These are skinnier. We got some skinnier Essential Legends collection books. We've got, especially with the fall, we've already got the Halloween decorations up in Hobby Lobby. So I discovered that today when I went, and I'll show you. I got something there, Star Warsy. They've got some real Star Wars crap at Hobby Lobby, and I do mean that affectionately. And excuse me for the harsh language there, but it's some absolute junk, and it's wonderful, and I'm so excited to show it off. So, and thirdly, we've got Isard. Yeah, that's right. What is this one? The Krytos trap. Yep,
that's the
there
one.
It is. It's like her face is so moody, you can't even see it on camera. Anyway, another wave of Legends books. Happy to finally have these in my collection. As soon as the show's over, I'm gonna have to scoot all the books around and figure out how to get these on the shelf and fit them in right with the others, because I've got what do you have, 13 Essential Legends collection books now? 15?
I have lost. I need to catch up, actually. I'm behind.
It's about half a shelf. You got anything new?
I do. Let me. I'm messing with stuff as you've been talking, and so I think my camera's upside down right now. So
that's fine. I'll show off my next thing. The Hobby Lobby. I got something, and it's silly. It is, in fact, one of the stupidest things I've ever purchased, and I hate Star Wars novelty items, but I really love this one. So this is a Chewbacca drink koozie. I got
that is
Chewbacca
awesome.
Koozie, and it's so insanely soft. It just feels good in my hand.
Ugh.
You know what's funny about this, and I don't know if they made a big deal about this in canon, but in Legends, Chewbacca, there's like a big deal about the Wookiees and clothes. You know about this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a big hang-up. Like, the Wookiees don't wear clothes. They get one thing, right? You get, like, one clothing item.
Yep.
There's a plot point in one of the Young Jedi Knights books about Lobaka going to get his belt. And it's like a big deal. He's going to go down to the underlevels and get his belt. And it's like, you get the one item of clothing, and that's it.
Yep.
Chewie's got his bandolier.
Bandolier, thank you, yes.
As does my pop. So
nice. That's pretty exciting.
Is it a Hobby Lobby exclusive? Wes says, I don't know, but it was $6, and I was very proud of that.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I think it's the most I've ever paid for a koozie, which outdoes the previous price of free. I've always gotten them for free.
Yeah. I think I've been gifted like a R2-D2 and a 3PO koozie, but they weren't pelted. Were any Wookiees harmed in the making of
No Wookiees were harmed in the making of this drink.
Man, that's an important thing to ask.
However, we had a bit of a dispute over the number of credits I was going to be paying for some little chalkboards that I was buying at Hobby Lobby, and I had 3 identical chalkboards, but one of them was a different price, and I was like, they're literally identical. And she was like, no, this one says it's $6.99. These others say they're $12.99. And I was like, they're literally identical. And I was starting to get a little sweaty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't yelling, but I was close. I was close. And the manager came over, and she was like, give them to him for $6.99. I was like, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I wasn't gonna get aggressive for the record.
Yeah.
But I definitely would have vented to my wife about it when I got home.
No, yeah, sure. Yeah, insistent and all that. I totally get it. You know that I haggle with Walmart, like, cashiers.
You totally would. The one time I went shopping with you, you haggled, and I was so embarrassed I left the store.
Yeah. So, I mean, because, like, seriously, like, if you use their app, and if you scan something, and it's cheaper on the app, you can show them that, as long as you're set to that store that you're in,
okay,
and they'll give it to you for cheaper. They'll give it to whatever's the cheapest price. And so you have to check the app, because, like, I'm talking Star Wars stuff. That they price differently.
You have my attention.
Yeah, that they price differently, you know, in the store from outside the store, or, you know, online and in the store. So, speaking of which, you want to see what I got?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm pretty sure I totally did price check all of these because I was really worried what the price was going to be. All right. This is warming my 90s kid heart, okay? I was...
Stretch Armstrong.
No. I had a bunch of micro
Earthworm
machines.
Jim.
Micro machines. And I've actually got some around me. You can't see on my top shelf. Like,
because they're so tiny.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they're like the big ones. So, like, I have like the Death Star, Millennium Falcon. I've got Vader's damaged advanced TIE, or TIE Advanced. Anyway, so that was the 90s. Micro machines.
Bruce burnt carcass. I said,
yeah.
Tried to make a joke and I failed.
I don't know what happened to the company Micro Machines, but recently these what are they calling them? Micro Galaxy Squadrons have been released.
All right.
They're ships, and I love ships. I've been collecting like Black Series figures, and those are cool, but I'm about to sell all my figures and buy more ships because I love ships. So
yeah, I see the Black Series behind you. They all look really good on the shelf.
Thank you. I need to probably open them or something if I'm allowed. But so TIE Fighter, they got one of those, and I was like, oh, cool. Then they have Vader's TIE Advanced, which that's
my favorite Legends ship.
The one,
I guess, original trilogy ship.
Here's one from my childhood, the damaged one. Like, they're like the same size and everything. Like, it is.
Is
so
it damaged
cool
because Han Solo messed it up, or is it damaged because you did a sit on it?
Nah, it's intentionally. Okay. It's got like plastic little burns. Like, this is part of the design, And
Nice.
I'm pretty sure these are like the same molds that they're making these toys again. So I'm super excited about that. And I went a little crazy and also bought Luke Skywalker X-Wing. Pretty sick. I love these. I'm so excited. And
How many of these do you have? You got like a Mary Poppins purse down there?
then we got who is this? Yeah, Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. And
I love that shit.
it has pictures of his hyperspace ring, but I didn't see it in here. I was like, I guess I have to buy it separately. Then I got home. It's on the bottom of the box. And
what?
And so I was like, I got the hyperspace ring. I was
That's
so excited.
cool.
Yeah.
Man, I love that.
But wait, there's more. Asajj's
Her parasailor.
Genevex Starfighter, whatever that. I never knew it had a name. It's all collapsed, but it's there. And then
Cool.
this bad boy was there the other day. I'm not allowed to get on this aisle anymore, but
no, you definitely are not.
Boba Fett's, what are they
cool.
calling it? It's Slave One, but Boba Fett's starship, you know?
Fire
And-
spray.
Yeah, Fire Spray 31, whatever. But yeah, so I am so excited about this new line of figures that are
Cool.
coming out. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, and micro, what are they called? Micro Advanced Starfighter.
Micro Galaxy something.
If
But
you'd
yeah,
like to sponsor Legends Look Back,
That's
we
right.
may or may not be interested.
I would be happy to show off your products.
That's right. Those are cool. Hey, Freddie and I found Shadows of the Empire micro machines at Celebration.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, tiny Shizor, but a lot of pheromones. I can say that much. A lot of pheromones. So, very cool. Whenever Emily's back, we can see if she's got any new Star Wars editions. In the meantime, let's talk about something that's going to be hitting the shelves soon. In fact, it goes on sale for pre-order tomorrow in our segment we like to call Legends Lookout. I would get like sound effects
We really
one of these
do.
days.
One of these days.
And this was announced just a couple weeks ago. It goes up on sale for pre-order tomorrow. I've got a pretty hefty collection of these at this point. These are not cheap, especially when they do the Master Edition. And that is, from Limited Run, the Knights of the Old Republic 2. Knights of the Old Republic 2, Lords of the Sith. What is the name? The Sith Lords Master Edition. That is a ridiculously long title. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Limited Run Master Edition.
yes, need like a breath halfway through.
Yeah, just like with the video game. It's an expansively long video game. This thing, the Master Edition, this is a dream come true. And thank you out there, whoever that was, for that follow. Saw the little thing twirl, but it was in the colors that I could not read. So we see you halfway, and we appreciate you. This is very, very cool. Let's talk about all the things that are included in this. Can you read it, Rick?
Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully this is assumed, but you do have a physical copy of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, for Nintendo Switch. There is a premium collector's edition box, maybe addiction. too. It's unknown. A Master Edition collector's box. The throwback case that holds the Switch case. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords Steelbook. A reversible 18 by 24 posters. Those always troubled me because you never know which side you're going to put up. It just, it's a fight. Then character concept art cards, Korriban concept art lithographs. All right, what's the droid name?
Go-To.
Oh, Go-To. I was afraid that if I had just said that, I'd be like shot, so I should have just gone with it. Go-To.
It's a pun.
Enamel
Yeah.
pin. Oh, okay, good. Commemorative coin, a 3-inch, or 3 foot, no, that's 3-inch Darth Nihilus miniature hilt replica.
Very important distinction.
Yes, that, definitely. Premium foil hardcover strategy guide, a Pazak playing mat, a Player 2 Pazak deck, and a certificate of authenticity. Just kidding. And so, like Jared said, pre-orders go on sale tomorrow.
I've got quite a few of these. I've got the Knights of the Republic 1 on pre-order. Should be coming out pretty soon. They, they're not the most essential items to have. However, I have such a strong love for these two games in particular. I didn't end up getting the one for The Force Unleashed. I couldn't afford it at the time. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all.
Yeah.
However, I am going to be picking this one up. And please, nobody tell my wife. And she'll find out. She'll definitely find out. But 3 things about this one that I especially love. 1, that poster maybe is the coolest piece of Legends merch to come out in a long time. That poster, it's based off like the original Tom Young Star Wars poster. I'm talking about the one where Leia's got the slit up her dress that goes up to her neck. You know what I'm talking about? Like buff Luke's got the lightsaber up above his head. Darth Vader's head's in the background.
Yeah.
So this is in that style, but it's got Nihilus's head in the background. It's got the Exile and the what's her name? The bounty hunter, the green reptile dress.
Not coming to me.
Anyway, it's got all these great details. Mira, thank you. Justin, appreciate that in the chat. But blanked on it. I was replaying the game recently until I found out the restored content isn't going to come out for a little while, so I stopped. All right, number 2. This has a Star Wars book included. Therefore, it's essential for Legends fans to collect.
Ooh. You put me in a bind here, Jared.
Yeah. And I had a third thing to say, and I've forgotten it. So for my number 3, I'm just going to say it's a great game. It's just a great game. Have either of you? You're both silent like you've never played KOTOR 2. I can see it in your eyes. Neither of you have ever played this masterpiece.
I haven't finished KOTOR 1. Give me a break.
I bet you're still stuck on Terrace, aren't you?
Leave me alone.
Well, I'm excited for this, and see based on the chat that a lot of our folks are as well. That pre-order is going to be up through October 2nd, so you've got about a month and a half to stockpile $200. 174 if you want to grab a copy of this. What else do we have? We've got a new hardcover. How do you one-up that news? Only with this. There's only one piece of news in the entire world that could one-up that, and it's this. Emily, tell the good folks what was just revealed a few days ago. Skip the Bane thing. We'll come back to it. Here it is. The omnibus.
Okay, the New Republic Omnibus Volume 2. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's Dark Empire and Thrawn Trilogy comics bound together in one omnibus. It's like the only thing you need to buy all year. That's it. 2 covers by Dave Dorman.
Not just the only thing you need to buy, but like
I think so.
I could
As
legitimately
seal of approval that this is it.
I thought about this week, Emily. I thought to myself, I could potentially see myself selling my entire collection and only keeping this. 1 book. I won't do it. But like theoretically.
Yes. Yeah.
If you are new to Legends, start here. If you want to simplify your collection, buy this book, get rid of the other 2. I don't know. Is it an advantage? I'm not sure. You decide for yourself.
How do these? I've never bought an omnibus.
Yes.
I'm new to omnibuy. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
So do you have to pre-order it to guarantee you're going to get one, or are they going to be around once they come out?
The thing you need to know about omnibusiness is this. They'll be around for a little while, but then it seems to me that then they become hard to find. And I could be wrong. This is still new. They've only been out for, I guess, 2 years at this point. I have found many copies of these on my local comic book store shelves. They've had some of the big hardcover omnibuy, however, cheaper if you pre-order. I know that with the Marvel Epic Collections, paperback ones, that the most highly sought after ones, like Legacy, for example, or the Thrawn Trilogy, Dark Empire, all of those gone very quickly and then very expensive. So I've wondered. This one has 2 stories, the Thrawn Trilogy and the Dark Empire, that have both sold out very quickly and have gone very high on the aftermarket with the Marvel Epic Collections. I wonder, how expensive is this thing going to get, and should I stockpile Mount Tantus full of them?
Love it.
I probably won't, but I think I will pick up both covers because I really love these. Now, we'll show up to art another week. We don't have a ton of time. We got to move on. But both covers are from Dark Empire.
Ugh.
My one complaint would have been I would have liked one Dark Empire cover and then one Thrawn Trilogy cover. I would have liked sleeveless Luke with the wrong color lightsaber. That's such a great cover. But hey, no complaints, because we do have naked palps on the cover of one of these, and I'm not kidding. The cover of the one where naked palps is on the cover is the cover. I don't have the image. You know, the one where he's all gooey and
slimy. Yeah.
That's actually on the cover of this $100 book. Isn't that? I know. I was looking for it earlier myself, Rick, and I couldn't.
Yep.
Couldn't pinpoint it. So
it's exciting.
Definitely. Okay, I mentioned a Bane cover. Tell us about this, Rick. The Darth Vader 27. I'm counting it as Legends.
Darth Vader number 27 has a Darth Bane alternate cover. So I haven't heard about this. Is this something that's about to be released, or is this like?
Yeah, they've been doing these alternate covers, Sith Lord alternate covers for the Darth Vader ongoing canon comic.
Oh, okay.
So they just did one of that new Sith Lord who was in High Republic, but he was only in like one issue. Darth Crawl, or yeah, that sounds right. We're the Legends show, so poking around in the dark here. So now we've got one for Bane. However, here's my complaint. Do we have the cover? The deal with this is it's not the Legends Bane.
Oh.
There's 4 or 5 different renditions of Bane you could have gone with. I guess for a canon comic, you can do the canon version of Bane. Yeah. It's not even the curved hilt, which is...
Yeah.
You know. Still, to have Darth Bane on a cover of a comic is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess we'll take what we get, but...
That's right. Well, I'll pick it up, but I won't be happy about it. Just kidding, I will be. But I'll definitely talk to the comic book store owner about all my thoughts.
Yes.
About this. So, one last thing here in Legends Lookout before we move on to a very fun, very exciting main show is this. We do have another wave of essential Legends collections that are out making their rounds about the internet. We don't have covers yet. However, released to the some bookstores, they now have the information that we've got Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void, Yoda Dark Rendezvous, which I'm very excited about, and Republic Commando Hard Contact, all hitting the shelves with the bigger, better, battered covers in April of 2023. April 25th, 2023 is our release date as of now. Wow. Any of these 3 that you guys are excited for or surprised by?
The only one I recognize is Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void. I don't know anything about Yoda Dark Rendezvous or Republic Commando Hard Contact. Maybe a little bit about the last one. These seem like interesting choices. I'm excited to read them. I kind of like how they're spacing out the re-releases. It kind of helps guide you along a reading journey, which I think is really fun. So I'll probably start reading them when they come out. I imagine many people will, but I don't really know much about them. What should we know about them?
Well, and for that very reason, we've been covering them in that order on the show. When they come out, we tackle them and we read them, and it's been a really good reading order. It really has been.
So I haven't had a chance to read any of these 3, but they're all on my list because they're good. You know, like I guess all of them are on my list, but I've heard that Yoda Dark Rendezvous, I think this week somebody mentioned that it's arguably one of the best Clone Wars book.
Really?
That might be a hot take.
Not just that, Rick. Not just that. It is one of my top 10 favorite Star Wars books ever written.
Okay.
Jared,
all right.
I feel like you say that about most books.
Listen, I love this stuff, and that's why we do the show.
Go ahead. Give us the 10. I want to count.
I've got a list. I don't have it in front of me.
We gotta make a list. We'll do it another episode. We'll have all of our top 10s.
Trust me, I've got a list. I really do.
You have a list for everything.
The Republic Commando, that's Karen Travis, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it.
That's what I've heard.
This is one of the weaker books in the series, in my opinion. But I think the series gets to some really good places. Some people don't quite see it that way, which is fine. They're an interesting spin on the Star Wars universe. I think Yoda Dark Rendezvous finally is going to get its time to shine. I can't wait to hear Yoda in the audiobook for 10 hours. That's going to be fantastic.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be... a lot of Yoda this is.
I was just going to say that, man.
It's going to be... it's going to be... now I run to do Yoda the voice the rest of the show. But we won't do that. What we will do...
We'll pick a different one.
What we will do for the rest of the show is we are going to talk about everything you never knew you needed to know about the expanded universe. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it.
Everything you never knew you need to know. But by the time the episode is over, you will then know the things you needed to know, and you'll say, you know what, I did need to know that. Or as Corey said last week, everything you never knew you needed to know and wished you hadn't.
I am so excited for this episode. I feel like this is like the episode I've been wanting the entire time I've been on Legends Look Back. And I get a little bit snippet here and there, but I'm very excited about this show, especially because almost everything has gone wrong up until this point. So, like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Perfect episode for us to then get into.
Wildest and wackiest, man.
Happen.
Wildest and wackiest.
All right, so I will give a bit here, and that is we will give spoiler warnings. If we get up to major character deaths, we will give spoiler warnings. There will be a couple of those mentioned on tonight's show. And I also want to say that, hey, some of this is a little silly. We're going to make fun of it a little bit, but it's because we love it.
I can't wait.
And it's not necessarily essential stuff, but we're going to hit these in two main categories. In-universe wackiness, so things that happen within the confines of the Legends universe, and then secondly, things that happen behind the scenes that then developed, that became the Star Wars Legends universe as it is. So how the universe came to be this wacky, wild masterpiece that we call the expanded universe. And with the theme of the rule of two that we're going with here, two categories. We also have two special helpers who have helped this episode come to life. And that is a big thank you, first and foremost, to Skooma Joe. We're going to get to more of his picks a little bit later in the episode. I reached out to two particular individuals and I said, this is your thing. Like, you guys, you excel at this unlike any other people on planet Earth, and I need your help. And did they come through in a big, bad way? Skooma Joe, so thank you very much for helping this episode come to life. This could not have happened without him. And then secondly, to our buddy Trevor across the pond, who gave me some great picks, and in fact is here to tell us about them himself. And by that I mean 3 days ago he recorded this video, and we're going to play it now for you all. So very, very happy to show off these picks from both Trevor and Skooma Joe. So lead us off, Trevor.
Can y'all hear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boost it 10% if you can.
Wow.
I like what? There's so many things. Like,
Yeah.
Jared, help.
Yeah. All right. Give me. Let's break it down. Let's go systematically, one by one, through Trevor's picks. Let's give ourselves 2 minutes on each one of these.
Okay.
And then we'll come down to our couple more in-universe picks, and then the behind-the-scenes picks as well. So,
all right, I'll start.
First and foremost, Callista Ming.
What?
Yeah.
What? Because, like, I'm sorry. So there's a Jedi trapped in a computer, and then she transfers her consciousness into another sentient being, and no one's like concerned with this. And then they date for a while. I'm sorry.
This is totally a Star Trek plot. I'm just saying.
This was
like
plot.
brain dead.
All right. I don't know. I'm reading the book right now.
Okay.
Right now. This is actually the book that I'm on, Planet of Twilight. Not to be confused with the one with the vampires. This is the one with the computer Jedi girlfriend. All right. The deal is, I listened to the abridged audiobooks like a dozen times as a kid, so I know the major beats. It's ethically dubious. Okay, let's be honest. But one, Luke had a lot of girlfriends before he had his one true love.
Did he though?
Yeah. Oh, hey. Speaking of Trevor and Star Wars Archives, they've got a fantastic episode about Luke's love life that they did at Valentine's Day. So, highly recommend. That one's free to the public. Check it out. Star Wars Archives. It is seriously.
I have a question.
It is. I'm honestly a little peeved that they did it before I could.
I mean, I feel like there is room to rediscuss some of these things because I have thoughts.
Yeah.
One of Luke's girlfriends is named Mary.
Of course.
Mary Star Wars. Yeah, that's right. So,
okay. And then, so then next item, IG-88 in the similar thread transfers his consciousness into the second Death Star. Rick?
Yeah.
Right.
I actually knew about that one. Like, as of last week.
I read this one earlier this year.
We were talking about one of the things we were going to talk about last week was our favorite bounty hunter, and I knew Boba Fett was going to be taken off the table pretty quick, so I was like, okay, Dengar, I don't know, Bosk is kind of cool, but the whole Wookiee thing, I don't know. All right, IG-88, what do you got going on? So I dove into the Wook, and once I got into this part, that like basically he was just a bounty hunter as a cover for his ultimate plan of like world domination or galactic domination. And so he used the second Death Star as like his tool. That was the plan, at least. And then it backfired. But yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, some folks in the chat are already throwing up their favorite wacky moments and legends. Please throw them at us. We'd love to hear your ideas. So,
oh my gosh.
With that story, Rick, you've got to move past the Wook, and you've got to pull out the original source material.
Okay.
It's in Tales of the Bounty Hunters from the mid-'90s.
Yep.
And that particular story is fantastic. It is, and the way that Trevor describes it is very true. He closes doors, open and closes doors randomly in Palpatine's face just to punk him. And Palpatine, like, shakes his fist up at the camera, and he's like, how dare you? I'm the Emperor of the Galaxy. But it's really well written. He says, I think, therefore I am. Like, it's this...
That's the name of the story, isn't it?
It's an existential exploration into droid consciousness and sentience.
There's a lot of that going around in Legends.
What do you mean? There's a lot of that going around.
Transferring of essence in Legends, and
okay, that's very true.
We cover it a lot, because there's a lot of it. Yeah,
that's fair.
I don't know, like Palpatine's, all of his. I'm reading Dark Empire, the comics, and like Palpatine is he's got some interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Trust me, I know, and that's the next week's cold open. I want to hear your review of Dark Empire. I can't wait. I almost bumped it to this week, but if you're not done yet, we'll hold off.
I'm done.
We'll hold off.
I've got thoughts. Again.
Good. Next week. All right. And please wear clothes to describe it. All right.
Have
Number 3.
Okay.
Hold on. Have you read 1 and 2 or just 1?
I think just 1. But we can talk about it next week.
Yeah,
I want to hear more about space measles.
Space measles. Here we go. In the comic, and somehow, I don't remember when this happened, but I was given this for free. Digitally. One time Amazon or Marvel was like, hey, you want this comic? And I was like, no. And it's like, too bad, you've got it. Like that time Apple put U2 on everybody's iPhones.
Yeah.
This comic, Vader's Quest, explains why Luke got the spot as Red 5, even though he had not done any of his driver's ed. And that is, he got to fly in the Red Squadron for the Battle of Yavin because the original Red 5 had space measles.
Yeah.
He got sick.
He got COVID.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's probably a
something
vaccine
like that.
for that. We won't talk about that.
I'll say this: it's wacky artwork, but it's a really good story from what I remember.
It's an interesting cover. I wonder if they'll re-release it. We'll have to
Yeah,
see.
no,
it does not age
it's
well. Oh, I want to read it.
not
now.
the best artwork, but I remember it being a good story. Okay. Shaggy. Now, I didn't know this, even though I've watched the Gindi series, and I also love the way that Trevor said Jendi Tatakovsky. Like he really was trying hard to pronounce this, and it was just a beautiful thing. Thank you, Trevor. All right. Do we have a picture of Shaggy? Shaggy. It almost sounds like a rapper name, doesn't it?
It does. And
Shaggy.
I just got to play on words, and it's
hilarious.
It's beautiful.
Oh my
There
gosh.
There he is.
That is
Shaggy.
Shaggy with a
Look at that.
lightsaber. I've got a cousin that looks just like Shaggy, and he also loves Star Wars. And this is hilarious to me.
What's his name?
Micah. He
I know
actually
Micah.
is
I don't know
passed
your
away.
cousins.
Yeah.
He passed away?
Yeah. We'll come
Different
back
conversation. Okay.
to that. Yeah. Okay. So next up, we've got F's in the chat. Okay. Super Bombad Racing was one. All right. This one isn't so much in universe as much as it really is a wacky thing, and I actually forgot this existed.
Is that Maul as a bobblehead racer?
Yeah, they've got
Oh my gosh,
almost like
the
Funko
dog-
Pop sized
what?
heads.
Oh man, maybe
And
that's
it's-
maybe we can
Boba
thank
Maul. It's
Super
like- oh my gosh.
Bombad. We can thank Super Bombad Racing for Funko Pops. I bet they were the
I
inspiration.
bet you're right.
That-
I would
that has
play
to
that
be.
for sure.
I-
Forget KOTOR.
I forgot this game. No, don't forget KOTOR. Please play KOTOR instead of this. However, we could do like an episode of Legends Look Back where we just chat while playing Super Bombad Racing the
Oh my
entire
gosh,
time. I
that'd
think
be
that'd be
awesome.
fun.
Take over.
All right.
Take
What
over
was this
game night.
on?
PS2? PlayStation? Yeah, I think it's PS2.
Justin in this chat says, I forced my brother to play this with me and he never forgave me.
As Trevor said, it's like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
That's right.
I love that. I love it.
Okay, and then the last thing
Oh
that
my
Trevor
gosh.
brought up for us was something that I had never heard of, but I sure did do my research. The original Marvel Years story in which Leia's heart is turned to diamond, she dies and is resurrected, and Trevor had a lot more to say than that, but honestly, it was too much for me. So
That is-
there you
that
go.
was
There's
a
an image. Yeah, it is, and that was the most Trevor thing that ever happened.
Wow.
It's like Frozen meets
You're welcome.
Star Wars, where there's like a frozen heart, but it's a diamond, and then she melts it and comes back to life, and all her enemies are gone. There's some
One of
plot
the Russ Manning stories. All right, which of these do you want to know more about?
Ooh.
Callista, IG-88,
Callista for sure.
Space Measles, Shaggy, Super Bombad Racing, or the Leia's resurrection?
Oy.
I like Callista for sure.
I'm
is
gonna
that?
hunt down Super Bombad Racing. Like that changes the game for me.
I've never played it, and I'm dying to. So
I
do
really do
think it'd be fun to have an episode where the entire time we're playing Super Bombad Racing. Dibs on only speaking Huttese the entire episode. Poodoo. All right. Let's get to a few more in-universe picks. Some that I came up with, some that Skooma Joe did. All right. Lando had a droid with tentacles who may or may not have committed genocide. It's kind of iffy territory. This came from the Lando Calrissian trilogy that I just finished.
Okay.
Finished! It's behind me in the
did it.
rearview mirror.
You
I
did
did
it.
it. Took me 4 months, I think.
Nice.
Three books. It was a lot. Yeah. And I will say that Vuffy Raw is the most redeeming thing about that entire series. Very good character. very good story surrounding him and, where he came from, and it's kind of a mystery, and some people hate him, and they're out to get him, and there's a bounty hunter, and he's obsessed with vengeance, and I don't want to spoil it, but I'm not sure that I would recommend actually reading this entire trilogy to find out the end, but it had, I'll say this much, an extremely, extremely satisfying ending. I love that you both hummed in unison there.
We're gonna have a special bond. We have similar
Yeah,
responses.
definitely.
If we can, next time we'll harmonize, okay?
Yeah, Rick will sing tenor. All right. I was listening to. I don't want to spoil it. There's a squish. I'll say that much. There's a very satisfying squish. All right.
Squish or
I'll have to
swoosh?
play the audio clip next episode or sometime soon.
That is so
A squish.
Squish.
There's the climax of the entire series is just a little. That's it.
That's
The
going
entire-
to the mixtape. I'm going to tag that right
I
there.
was gonna say if you were, I was gonna.
All right, let's break it down. The villain. Spoilers for the Lando Calrissian trilogy. You've been warned.
I've been warned.
The villain, Gepta. I don't know. Is a sorcerer, and he's ancient, like lived for thousands of years or something. And he's obsessed with ruining Lando Calrissian's day, as one does. Turns out at the end, there's like all these little teases throughout the series that maybe he's not human, and he shapeshifts, and he puts on costumes. He comes back around. At the very end, Lando's in this big epic battle against him, and something happens, I don't remember exactly what, and he ends up revealing his true form. His robes fall off, kind of like Obi-Wan, but instead of there being nothing but a lightsaber, there's a frog, like an amphibious creature.
Frog.
That the bad guy, the sorcerer, doing all these magics, was a frog, and Lando
Just steps
squishes
on it. That's how he defeats it.
no, he picks him up and squeezes him.
Oh.
That's
And
savage.
I was listening to like a slightly unscrupulous YouTube rendition, like a computer-generated AI reading of the Lando Calrissian trilogy. It was atrocious. And listening to this, there's very few sound effects. Very few sound effects in the entire thing. Sometimes like a spaceship fly over, they put that sound effect in. Or like explosion. Boom. That's about it. So a little bit of music here and there. Very sparse. I'd forgotten there were sound effects. And then it's like Lando picked him up and squished him. And then in my earbuds, I'm out cleaning the swimming pool that has frogs in it. No. And I'm out cleaning the swimming pool. And in my earbuds, it goes... and I ran inside, grabbed my wife. I explained this entire thing. I was like, listen to this. I played it, and she just looks at me and goes... She was shocked, and If to me was one of the top 10 greatest moments in my entire Legends reading history. And hey, okay, you're now safe, spoiler free, you're good to go. Let them know in the chat. Somebody said they wanted to be warned that we're safe. We're past the spoiler. All right, moving on. There it is. I told you.
Yep.
I wasn't going to. I got into it. There you go.
My gosh.
All right.
I love that.
Thank you for saving me a trilogy, too. I can...
No.
Just a little squish.
That's great.
All right, so there you go.
Cliff notes.
Lando has a droid. Unscrupulous things happen. Very unscrupulous. And there's a mystery. Did he do it? Did he not?
Yes.
Next up, speaking of squishy frogs, Rick, tell the good folks about our next in-universe pick involving Wooher the bartender.
Thank you for pronouncing that. Wooher, the bartender from the cantina, blended up Greedo's corpse into a drink for Jabba.
What kind of blender do you have? That's like
I
Vitamix
mean,
4.0. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
It's,
He owns a cantina. I mean, it's Chalman's Cantina,
a
the
Dorito
Wookiee.
smoothie.
Yeah. That's like one of the ninjas, but like the Jedi. I don't know what the brand would be in universe, but I'm sure it's good.
These little tales, short stories, tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. That's what this one's in. Mm-hmm. It's a great book, and not all the stories are 10s, but most of them. And this is definitely one. The Wooher's the bartender story. You know the big ugly guy with the big nose and the face. We don't accept their kind in here, right?
Yeah.
And it's a story about how he comes to acceptance of droids.
Ooh.
Yeah. You didn't think that story was about acceptance and inclusion.
No.
Ooh, all right.
Facing your demons. And then he serves Jabba the Hutt Greedo's smoothie. Because he's like in search of, it's like a mixology story. Like he's searching for the perfect cocktail to serve to Jabba the Hutt,
He takes
right?
the corpse. And he's like, "This'll do it."
That's where the story begins. Is the last story ends with Han killing Greedo, even though Greedo shot first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. And Greedo, Wooher is like, bet you I could do something with this green boy.
You know what?
Hey,
there ought to be
I bet-
that seems like a recipe waiting to happen. I want a Greedo
Yeah.
Floods him up.
Rhodey and Rush.
Yeah. Speaking of
Well-
which, I have something to say about the cookbook later. Ask me again
Okay.
later.
I forgot there was a cookbook.
I have it.
So,
I
all
read
right.
it. New things came to light. Can I have the next one?
Excellent. Good. Yes, please.
Okay. So in the Jedi Academy trilogy, there's a character named Threkin Horm. The character was supposed to appear again in The Courtship of Princess Leia, but Dave Wolverton misspelled his name as Hrekin Thorm. It was such a poor misspelling, it was later decided upon that he should just be a new character altogether, which I stand by that choice. That's a pretty bad. It's like both names were misspelled.
This one's so funny that we actually have a literal LOL in the show notes.
We do.
I didn't put that there. I don't use LOL. I'm blaming
was
Skooma
Rick.
Joe, but it's in here.
It must have been
That's
Rick.
right. It's just
No,
a little.
not me.
Oh, I think it was Freddy.
Yeah, I think it was
chat
Joe.
for
So
Freddy.
there we go. It's such a big misspelling. Hrekin Thorm. And what's funny? I distinctly remember both characters, and it never once occurred to me they could be the same person. Never once.
Oh, that's great.
It's
I
not
mean-
every day that you meet a Hrekin.
Well, I just want to be part of like the editorial meeting where like some editor is bringing this to the managing supervisor, like, "Hey, is this name right?" And they're like, "I don't know. They just make up
Probably
those names,
fine.
you know." And
It's vacant in space. That's right.
yeah,
Move on.
Yeah.
Move along. Move along, just like we are. Next up, Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit multiple times.
Yeah.
All right.
I've heard this story.
And I got a detailed rendition of this from Joe. And there's even more to this that I'm not going to necessarily get into in this episode. But in Legends, there's multiple instances of Boba Fett not only escaping the Sarlacc pit, but also falling back in. There's different instances of Boba Fett, like slightly different versions of the story, which to me, it's Legends, right? You can have different versions of the story. That makes sense. Like, oh, I heard it happen this way. Oh, I heard it happen this way, right? So we've got two different versions of the story. Obviously, Hot Dog Boba Fett is one. Mm-hmm. Dark Empire, Boba, long and says to Solo, "Greetings, Solo. The Sarlacc found me somewhat indigestible." One of the greatest lines in the entire expanded universe, which was the revelation that he had survived in the new continuity. Then we've got Tales of the Bounty Hunters gets into it. Then the same story is retold also in the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy. So that's 3, if you're counting. Versions of the same story, right? Okay. Then we've got an image of this. I think. Yeah, we do. Okay. Let's see if I can pull up the story that Skooma Joe wrote for us here on exactly how this all went down. It's a little bit convoluted, so buckle up, just like Boba Fett should have. Which ended up in this catastrophe. Here we go. In Star Wars number 81, titled Jawas of Doom, which can we just appreciate that title for a second? Jawas of Doom. Boba Fett is burped out of the Sarlacc pit onto the hot sands of Tatooine, where he is found by Jawas and brought back to their sandcrawler. Meanwhile, on Tatooine, Han, running low on cash, makes a trip to the Mos Eisley bank to withdraw some credits. He is informed by the bank teller that his account has been frozen due to the owner of the account being frozen in carbonite. Gotta love these old Marvel comics, right? A furious Han plans to use R2 to hack into the bank computer to access his account, only to realize that R2 has been stolen by Jawas. Han and Leia ride out into the Dune Sea to track down the Jawa sandcrawler. Meanwhile, inside the Jawa's rolling fortress, a scared R2 encounters Boba Fett, only to discover that Fett has amnesia and doesn't remember anything that's happened.
Oh, man.
Han and Leia assault the Sandcrawler, with Han pulling off an Indiana Jones stunt, crashing his speeder into the crawler, leaping up onto the vehicle. Upon finding R2, this sounds great. It sounds like something you could see in like The Mandalorian, right? Mm-hmm. He finds R2. Han encounters who else but Boba Fett himself. But luckily for Han, Fett has no idea who he is. Leia informs Han the Sandcrawler is headed straight for the Sarlaac pit. Boba and Han work together to escape, but right at the last moment, Fett comes to his senses, regains his memory, wants revenge, shoots Han, who was trying to help him climb out before it was too late, which caused Han to fall off the Sandcrawler before it then plummeted into the pit of Carcoon, which is kind of epic, right? A Sandcrawler falling into the pit, resetting the status quo and putting Fett back in the belly of the Sarlaac. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh. I can just see like a boomerang, like a loop of him just like falling into the Sarlaac pit again and again and again. And like that's Legends.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful retelling, Skooma Joe.
Beautiful.
All right. And we've got one more. And this one might be the greatest of all. Almost worship worthy. Just how amazingly ridiculous this is. Emily, tell the good folks about Waru.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So in The Crystal Star, the characters encounter a cult that worships a giant, sentient, yellow cube named Waru. People bring their sick to Waru for him to heal. He has powers, but he feeds off of force-sensitive people, as we do. In order for him to stay alive, he has to consume force-sensitive people, mainly children. Horrifying. He tries to consume Luke, but Leia saves him at the end. Waru then returns to the alternate dimension where he came from. What is this? It's like a cannibalistic tesseract. Like he's just like nomming on force-sensitive children.
What a great description! Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great description. And we have some art of it. It's fun. I've seen the same art, but C-3PO is wearing a Santa hat before. So I don't know why, but there we go.
Reminds
That's
me of
Waru.
like a pineapple,
Yeah, what is that?
inside out pineapple cube or
How
something.
is it sentient?
I've heard so many things about this book. Let's just say, because of the things that I've heard, I've not yet read the book.
Oh, it's
However,
on the top of my list. I gotta know more about this.
it's sitting on my bookshelf, and I will be reading it this year. And nothing can stop me, not even the Lando Calrissian trilogy. So I have now finished it, and now I'm on Callista. I'm getting to all of these crazy things right now because I've saved some of these for last. Let's move on to our next category, behind the scenes. Let's try to blaze through these as quickly as we can. We'll go one by one. Any big reactions? Let's get to it. Beyond that, let's put the details out there. This is the 101, right? You've enrolled in this course. Everything you never know. Let's roll it again. Everything you never knew you needed to know about Star Wars Legends. First and foremost, George wrote all kinds of different drafts for Star Wars before it became the Star Wars that we now know and love. In one of these early drafts, one of the names that was original to the very first draft of Star Wars was none other than Mace Windu. In one draft, and I did not go back and fact check this, from what I remember, in one of the early drafts of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker was first named Mace Windu, which is hard to imagine. Luke, like Mark Hamill named Mace Windu, isn't it?
It is. And it wasn't like the smuggler Jedi character combined into like one. Like the Han Solo was a Jedi and he was the father or the son of Luke or Darth Vader. Wow.
In one of them, he's Anakin Starkiller.
Yes, that's
There's
right.
a lot of different versions of it. There's a comic rendition of one of the early drafts, and that is called The Star Wars.
The Star Wars. I have the Star Wars.
We all have the Star Wars. It's all around us all the time, Rick. Anyway, it was by J.W. Rinsler. People loved it. It was well received, which is cool. I've never read it. I will one day. But first, finishing the novels. Next up, Jackson. Tell us about Jackson, Rick.
All right. Jackson was completely despised by George Lucas, so much so that the writer, Roy Thomas, left the book. Is this quote all about this?
Yeah. Making sure. Yeah, it is. Go for it as best you can.
All right, check this out. Who is this from?
This was from Roy Thomas recounting, what happened in the early days of writing that comic, and then him leaving the series.
Okay, gotcha. He says, still, things quickly fell apart during the 4-part solo Chewbacca story arc. There was a complaint that the story was too much like its filmic forebears.
You can
And
skip, the bad language there.
Maybe it was. Then one day, Charlie phoned to tell me that George didn't like the alien green rabbit, Jackson, that I had made one of the seven Samurai Magnificent Seven. That criticism, added to the sacred cow status that Star Wars had obtained, was the final straw for me. I told Charlie politely but firmly that I'd be quitting the title after number 10 and that someone else could take over the writing. I'd go back to concentrating on mags like Conan the Barbarian, whose creator Robert E. Howard had died 4 years earlier.
It's crazy to me that George was like, no, don't like the rabbit. And then he was like, if I can have my rabbit, I'm out of here. And I think we've got an image of Freddy with the rabbit. The fact that this character has gone on to have such an enduring fame and legacy, and he's back in canon, and he's on covers, and I saw multiple Jackson cosplayers at Star Wars Celebration. And I'm sure some of this even is to attribute to friend of YOUTINI, Kevin Scott, who has popularized the character and really gone to bat for him. And as I said on an episode of Cosmic Force recently, in an interview about Jackson with YOUTINI, he said, and I directly quote, "I love that green rabbit." There we go. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Freddy with Jackson is one of the coolest pictures ever taken in the history of photography. And you can write that on my tombstone. There we go. All right.
Can I take the next 3?
Next up. Yeah, let's talk about Heir to the Empire.
Ooh.
This is like a Thrawn trilogy behind-the-scenes stuff here.
Wait, what do you mean?
I think the next couple of points, at least, are about the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, so Timothy Zahn wanted to name the Noghri Sith, which I think is somewhat problematic.
That's extremely wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of Sabayoth, Zahn wanted Luke to square off against a crazy cloned Obi-Wan, which debatably would make more sense.
It would make a lot more
Lucy
sense.
Wilson.
But here's my question. Here's my question about that. Would he be shirtless?
I mean, obviously.
Because you got to have the abs. I was looking for my... I've got a shirt with it, the Heir to the Empire cover. I couldn't find it for tonight's show. So instead I've got Dash Rendar in all of his shoulder pad glory.
Beautiful.
But yeah, the Noghri... So Vader's known as the Dark Lord of the Sith, but we didn't know who the Sith were. Mm-hmm. So Zahn was like, I'll invent the Sith.
Oh.
And then George was like, no, like, listen, okay, I've got a plan. Just chill. And so the Noghri became the Noghri instead of the Sith. And then, Sabayoth, he added this whole thing where he was going to do the cloned Obi-Wan, and that's not what came to be. But all those behind-the-scenes notes on the Thrawn trilogy are available in the 20th anniversary edition of Heir to the Empire. They're in the margins. There's even an audiobook with all of those extra tidbits. There's like a 3-hour audiobook with all the behind the scenes, which was crazy. From 2011, the 20th anniversary. Okay, this next one's juicy.
Yes, I like this one. Okay, so Lucy Wilson, who came up with a lot of the story for Shadows of the Empire, apparently based Shizor on an ex-boyfriend of hers.
What?
Okay. Cool. What a creep.
Yeah, no big deal.
Glad he's an ex-boyfriend.
Here's my question.
Yes.
Yeah, here's my question. Was he purple?
And what did he smell like? Tell me more.
Did he have a ponytail? Did he have a crime? Yeah, what were his fingernails like? That's the real question.
Yes. There might have been some signs that, could have helped this relationship go a different direction.
Red flags.
Yeah.
But in making him a villain has helped us all to see the red flags in our own relationships.
So
that'll preach, man.
Touching.
Won't it?
Yeah.
All right. Rick, you were telling me before the show that you've read the Jedi Academy trilogy.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about the paddles from the Jedi Academy trilogy. These are bonkers.
So when writing the Jedi Academy trilogy, Kevin J. Anderson said he was instructed, probably by George Lucas, to include force-sensing paddles, which are basically metal detectors that detect the Force in people. It may have seemed goofy at the time, but in hindsight, they're reminiscent of the midichlorian blood test in the prequel trilogy. And that's what I was thinking. Paddles, they seem goofy, but then George went it up and did it himself. So
So
I don't
it all
know.
makes sense, right?
That's the way the Force works, I guess.
I love it.
George is the boss.
So creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a goofy plot point in those books. I'll say that much.
And the fact that regular
didn't quite.
stormtroopers are trained on these things, like they're like, oh yeah, get close. And let me
Yeah.
see.
Spat you. The Force works in mysterious ways, says Skooma Joe. Very true. Very true. All right. Some more Lando factoids here. All right. In the Hutt Gambit. Whoa. I almost said a different word there. In the Hutt Gambit, Lando uses a mind control gun on Boba Fett, and we have a summary. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Pages 128 through 140 of the Hutt Gambit. This is the first meeting in Legends of Han, Lando. Those names are similar when you look at them on paper. Han, Lando, and Boba Fett. First time these three characters meet, all right? Boba Fett is hired by Tara Winza, that's the rhino who does the inappropriate things to drug-addicted people with his uvulations. All right.
But he's a collector, so we have some sympathy for him.
Correct, that's right. So Boba Fett is hired by Tara Winza to kidnap Han Solo on Nar Shaddaa. Fett jabs Han... I can't say this stuff. All right.
Just say Han.
You're about to see why I tripped over this, all right? Fett jabs Han right in the buttocks with a potion from Ryloth, paralyzes the victim, and makes them unable to move unless commanded by someone else. As they approach the slave wand, Lando arrives and blasts Fett with a stun bolt. He finds the antidote on Boba and gives it to Han. This is the first time any of these characters have met before. They consider killing Fett or taking him to the local bar and charging people with the chance to humiliate Fett, but they decide that would be cruel. So they just inject Fett with the same serum, instruct him to fly away in the Slave One until the serum wears off.
Wow.
When I read the book, I was thinking like, oh, that's cool. They outsmarted Boba Fett. That's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Then like you see it written this way, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's way goofier than I realized.
Yeah. That has like.
It worked.
Yeah.
The fearsome Boba Fett, the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Sounds like a date rape drug. Straight up.
Yeah, it does
really
get problematic, much like that, right? It does. And moving on.
Yep.
Moving on. Michael P. I spent a lot of time this week wondering how to pronounce this. Kube
McDowell. I'll go with that, yeah.
Kube McDowell wanted to give Chewbacca a harem of wives in the Black Fleet crisis, but Lucas vetoed it. That would be too much. This ended up causing him to just use Chewbacca's family from the holiday special.
I'm 100%
that was a better decision.
Down for Chewbacca having a harem. I think that would be hysterical. Because I mean, he's quite celibate. He's very dedicated to.
He's monogamous.
He spends a lot of time on that spaceship with Han, just doing good dog things, and So he's just like he's a good boy, and he does the things, and he works on the ship. And...
Ooh, I like this one.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about the New Jedi Order. We've got a lot to say about the New Jedi Order. So there will be a couple of these in a few minutes. We'll give a little bit more spoiler warning. A couple of these will get a little spoilery, but not yet, not quite. So tell us, we got like 5 or 6 on the New Jedi Order.
Yes. So Yuuzhan Vong were named after Thai food. New Jedi Order writers and editors had a meal at a French Thai restaurant in New York City called Vong. A tea on the menu was from the Yunnan region. So played with the spelling to make it less Asian and more alien, ended up with Yuuzhan Vong. I totally see that.
I can see it, but that does not age well, man.
It does not,
it's
does
hard
it?
To say.
We spent some... We had some back and forth with our buddy Skooma Joe this week on some of these plot points, and he like challenged me on a couple. Like I remembered them differently than he remembered them, and so we had to like go back and I actually dug out the source material to find this specific interview, to find some of these details. That one, there's a behind the scenes interview in the making of the New Jedi Order. There's like a whole interview with a bunch of the authors and creatives who crafted this storytelling initiative. It is in the back of the paperback of the Unifying Force, the final book in the series. And I reread this yesterday. It's actually in there that this is how the name came up. They were at a restaurant, flipping through the menu. They're like, what should we call the villains? Vong. There it is. Nailed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and for our audio listeners, Emily and Rick are just shaking their heads.
Yep.
As if to say, we have no part in this, nor do we approve this message.
Yeah.
All right, Emily, lead us through some more of these New Jedi Order factoids. The name on this is Voxen.
Yeah, so the Voxen in Star by Star are loosely based on the aliens from the Alien franchise.
That's exciting.
They're like, from what I remember, it's been 10 years. They're like genetically modified, engineered beasts. They're like a bunch of legs and talons and teeth and slobber, and they can hunt the Force, like Force users. And they're engineered from the Vornskurs on Mirkor from the Thrawn trilogy. So it's like a callback to that, which is cool.
Do they incubate like in a host body?
I don't remember, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Very alien.
Okay, sorry.
Now, I don't have this name spelled out, so I'll take this next one. In the same book, this is Star by Star, kind of the middle book of the series, there are droids that are invented to finally like, hey, let's fight back against these Yuuzhan Vong. They're Yuuzhan Vong hunter droids.
Ooh.
The Yuuzhan Vong hunter droids, the way they're described, is exactly like Terminators.
I mean,
They look like Terminators. Here's the kicker. They all are programmed with Lando's voice.
What?
Well, what have we here?
What have we here? Yeah, that's right.
What?
So all these fearsome... Did you see, like, imagine, like, the middle of a battle, big old fight, Terminators
so
versus...
by that choice.
versus aliens.
Legends is great, man.
That's
this is
awesome.
fun.
And they're cool. They're really cool.
That's
they're
cool.
funny, because it's like they sound like Lando, and everybody's like, this is weird. And,
is this the audio book, or like the abridged audio that sounds that way, or is it like actually written where
That's a
it's
good
descriptive?
question. Yeah.
I've not done the audiobooks for these, the abridged. There's only abridged ones. So
it must be detailed.
I read them all. Yeah, they're described as having been... Because Lando engineers them, or his company that he owns, because he's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Of course.
Entrepreneur. They...
Entrepreneur.
That's right. They definitely... She says, can you pull up that fan-made video that have Lando's voice?
Oh, wait.
I'm not sure I have that. So we'll have to post that in the Discord. So,
Oh, man.
yeah, in the book they're described that way. And it's kind of a funny little plot point. All right. Anything else in the New Jedi Order, Emily, we should talk about?
Sure. So George Lucas forced a storytelling shift with the New Jedi Order to not make Anakin Solo the main character, and thus sealed Anakin's fate.
Yeah, wait. Okay, so we'll do want to give a spoiler for that
Okay.
one. So we do have a bit of a spoiler, a couple of spoilers here for New Jedi Order for like the next 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
sorry.
so that's Anakin bites it. Basically, George killed Anakin. There it is. You heard it here.
Both of them.
Yikes. Yeah. So
The chat.
there's a little
for
debate.
Anakin.
There's a little debate about like the Solo children's fate in Legends and like what role George had in it. It's a little bit nebulous, but this was one big pivot. George, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Like he didn't want to have the main hero of that entire series be Anakin when he's making the prequels at the same time, right? It's a little too similar.
That's interesting. You know, like the history and the my brain's not working, but the setting of being written in the '90s, late '90s, and that's a good point. The name similarity between Anakins. That's good.
Yeah, and similarly, Jason was never intended to go dark, which is a plot point. After that, Lucino, and this was a quote I'd never seen before. Lucino, the famous author of Darth Plagueis, right? He wanted to make, and I love this quote. He wanted to make, let's see which one, Jason. Yeah, he wanted to make Jason more Qui-Gon than Qui-Gon.
How does one do that?
His
Rebellious,
personality,
maybe, or like
he's introspective.
Okay.
And like believes in prophecy and is kind of
hippie
Freddy.
Jedi.
Freddy in the chat says longer hair. That's right. Thicker accent. That's right.
Thick.
Okay.
Very fast, very dangerous. All right. What else we have here from? This is after New Jedi Order at this point.
Are we done? Are
all
we
right,
out of spoilers?
I'm gonna tackle this one. This one's also spoilery.
Okay.
Depending on what we do with it. The Sith name for the villain in Legacy of the Force. That's all we'll say about the villain. his name is, so you can give the spoiler. Return back from, come on. No, there's another spoiler right after this, so don't do it. Darth Kaitis, the name for the main villain in Legacy of the Force, was a fan-submitted name. This is insane.
What?
I was eager to tell you both about this. There was a contest back in the mid-2000s. There was a contest in association with StarWars.com. They created another domain called, and I kid you not, DarthWho.com.
Heck yeah! Did you vote for
And
Darth
fans?
Kaitis?
No, I didn't. I wasn't reading these books. I was collecting them at the time and waiting until I had time to read them, which I did get to them. All right.
That
There
sounds
were-
like... Okay, man.
There were 8,500 submissions.
Okay.
10 then were narrowed down. 3 were then presented to the authors to pick from. Darth Kaitis, it's I believe Latin for peace or something like that. I don't totally remember, but the name came from a fan for a major expanded universe villain, which I think is really cool.
That is really cool.
I would like to posit that if it's Latin, then it's Caetus. But I could be wrong because I was like a bad student in Latin. But
I did Latin too,
yeah.
and I'm coming up blank. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I've always said Kaitis, and there's nothing you can do to change my mind. Moving on. Troy Denning has talked about wanting to... So this is spoilery. You've been warned? All right. Troy Denning has talked about wanting to bring Anakin Solo back to life at the end of Legacy of the Force. This is something I didn't know going into this episode. He said he thought that it was too sad having only one Solo kid left.
Troy, you're right.
Which is sad.
You're right. Yeah.
It is sad. But they live forever in our hearts.
And you don't
know
have
what
to
I'm
bring back every character. Make a sacrifice worth something.
What they end up doing, Rick,
tragedy.
and I'll leave it till you get there.
Don't spoil any more than you already have, okay?
What they end up doing with this is even more tragic. They play with bringing him back to life. They toy with you. It's torture. Ow!
Man.
Hurts. All right. And we've got one last factoid here. Everything you never knew that you never needed to... I messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you never knew you needed to know about the expanded universe. And here's one that I'm very eager to share. Are you ready for this? One last round. Here we go. Mark Hamill himself recorded a commercial for a Legends book.
For a book?
He recorded a commercial for the series for New Jedi Order when this was such a big new storytelling initiative there, and we have the commercial.
What?
And we're going to talk about this commercial right here on Legends Look Back. For the first time ever on the show, we've got the New Jedi Order commercial narrated by Mark Hamill, and let's hope our video doesn't get taken down for playing it. I had never seen that commercial until this week doing research for the show. I want to hear your impressions. What do you think about that commercial?
Wow. I mean, I think it's awesome that, Mark Hamill was in a commercial, and, commercials have changed over the years.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was super into the role or super not into the role. I can't decide.
It looked like it was just kind of cut footage kind of put together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the video of it all is a little lazy.
Uh-huh.
In hindsight, like if you can go through the effort of getting Luke freaking Skywalker to come and narrate your book commercial, you could do a little bit more with the editing. However, this was 98, 99 when they made this. So that video probably took 10 hours to process on somebody's Mac. Right, the original Macs. So
Power Mac G2, probably. Yeah.
yeah, whatever that means. So I was thinking like the see-through ones.
No. Before then, those are 2000s.
Okay, show my age here. All right, I think the ending screen especially is just like you zoom out really quickly, whoop, and then it's like we'll just put the book up on the screen, a little bit of text. That's it. That's everything you need to know. It could have done a lot more, but cool, very cool. And I think he's such a great voice actor. It's also rad. There's like a TV commercial
That is really
with
cool.
Mark Hamill.
All right, hear me
for
out.
a Legends book.
Hear me out. Do we have... I don't have a New Jedi Order book handy. Or do I? Anyway, I want the trailer. This is my fan edit, okay? Starts with a wide shot of Luke on a cover maybe, or just Luke. and then the whole time he's talking, it just zooms closer to his eyes.
Sure.
And just gets all the way in, where it's like you see the pupil, and then it like turns into, I don't know, a fire, I don't know, lightsaber.
Or you
Then
zoom
you
out,
zoom out.
and it's the Yuuzhan Vong.
Yeah,
Oh.
there it is. But zoom out a little slower than that instead of the...
Yeah,
It's just... It is. So
that's it.
and that's
it.
everything you never knew you needed to know about the expanded universe. If you have more, everybody, please feel free to throw them in the Legends Look Back Discord channel or contact us on Twitter and let us know there. I want to give a huge thank you to both Trevor and Skooma Joe for their help as our research assistants for this episode. We could not have done it without you, or maybe we could have, but it wouldn't have been as much fun. So there's that. Coming up next in the world of YOUTINI, yeah, everybody give a little round of applause for our buddies there. Coming up next Monday on The Living Force, they are revisiting The Rise of Skywalker in hindsight, having read Shadow of the Sith, so very excited for that. They've got Cosmic Force on a Wednesday, and then the next episode of Legends Look Back next week is Back to School with Legends Look Back, because it's that time of year. Little kiddos scurrying back to school. Rick's not putting them in the bus this year. They got to walk to school. Mm-hmm. Sorry,
no animals will be harmed
kids.
in the beginning of this school year.
Yeah, no animals will be harmed in the
not my
making
way.
of this episode. No, I wasn't going to say it.
Keep your pets on a leash, people.
Yeah, and so back to school episode, we're going to talk about all about what it must have been like to train at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy. We're going to talk about the what it must have been like and who the best students are and all that good stuff. So very fun. Then the next, come on, autocorrect. The next roundtable we're going to do here on Legends Look Back is not the Krypton trap, but the crypto trap. That's different too. The crypto trap.
Dogecoin or Kal-El, your choice.
Crypto. If you want to learn more.
The show notes literally say the crypto
They
trap
do,
right
they
now.
do.
The Krytos trap. The Krytos trap is going to be our next, but we got 2 weeks before we're going to tackle that one. I've got to start it, that's for sure. So thank you, everybody, for joining us here for Legends Look Back. Thanks to our incredible patrons, especially for your support. We're loving making this show. 101 episodes in, and we are glad that you are here along for the ride with us. Especially, you want to thank our Jedi High Council, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, and the Alliance High Command, Elizabeth Cloutier, Sally, and Chris Eilerson as well. Remember, everybody, to sub to the channel here on YouTube. Leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. Or, of course, you can get your thoughts read on the show. You got a crazier, wackier fact about the expanded universe that we didn't get to this episode. We got to hear it. We're not going to keep going with another episode until we hear it. So let us know. LegendsLookBack at youtini.com. You can send us a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel. Leave a comment on this episode on YouTube. Or you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Jared Q. Mays. Freddy, may he recover quickly and be back with us very soon. That's very ominous. I didn't say what was going on.
Come on, Freddy. Wake up, Freddy.
Wake up, Freddy. Over there on Twitter. Rick is...
Weird. Rick_Grace.
And Emily.
It's at Darth J.
Cannot speak. If you're looking to buy some of these books, such as some of the crazy ones we talked about this episode, the Crystal Star especially, I'm feeling like we're going to have to read that one and talk about
sure.
it. We're going to learn about Waru. We don't know nearly enough about Waru. You can go on over to youtini.com, click the Amazon link in the profile. You can get your own copy, and then after you have read the book, you can leave us a review and let us know everything that you ever thought about Waru. But keep it respectful or he'll eat your children. So let us know what you think after you've read the book. But remember, as you do so, keep the YOUTINI fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you.
This is a YOUTINI broadcast.